Just super happy with that win, particularly for our seniors. I told our group after the game that senior day is one you always remember, and it's one that you most importantly and mostly remember the results. And that one right there is one that they won't soon forget. Whether it's Trey Green that's been here for 4 years or Sean Smith and James Dent that have been here for 1 year. That was a great team win. I thought we got off to a pretty good start, got an 8-point lead, and then down towards the tail end of the first half, we gave up 9 consecutive possessions where they scored. And then we started the second half with 3 straight turnovers and dug ourselves a hole. The thing I love about this group and our team and our players, the whole program, is in the huddles there was just the right talk, the right energy. You could feel like they really felt deep down like they were going to come back and win the game. The 2 biggest things that we kept talking about is ball care and rebounds. It was starting to come down to a possession game, and we were running out of them. We were turning it over too much and not rebounding it enough. And once those 2 things changed, we got ourselves back in the ball game. Trey Green made a clutch shot down the stretch. Jobbing here was just terrific. Both with shot making all the way to the last assist, the pass to Torrey. And again, double-doubles out of Torrey and Chris. Those 2 have really helped change the way we're able to defend and run offense, and that's because of the way they're rebounding. When you force teams to one and done because of the way you're rebounding it, and give yourself second chance opportunities because of the way you're offensively rebounding it, you got a chance to win ball games and be a good team. And, man, he went up and got that last ball like a grown man and put that thing down. That was fun. I've been doing this a while, and that was a fun ball game.
On that note, Ja, coming down 11 seconds, don't call a timeout. How much was the alley-oop? Was that always part of the plan? What was going through that play?
Yes.
Well, they scored. We wanted to get it in quick. We in a timeout previously before we knew we were going to go to a high middle ball screen with Chris, and Chris got my man, good screen. I got to the paint, and it was me either laying it up or throw it to the man that could jump the highest in the room and let him flush it. So I like Torrey.
On that note, you assisted or scored on 17 of the final 21 points at the end of the second and in overtime. How do you stay composed in games like this to make the right decisions?
I have great coaches and great teammates that just trust me and breed confidence through everybody. So it's just easy to not get too high, get too low, and just stay here and just keep going and competing.
Coach, does the name Nick King mean anything to you?
I heard that my man here is the first since Nick King, who I just told him down the hallway was an unbelievable player here at Middle. Player of the year in our league, and a huge reason that the 17-18 team had a terrific season. And for Torrey to match that with 3 consecutive double-doubles puts himself in high class. Nick King's a terrific player, and so is Torrey Austin.
Torrey, and to do it in games like this, where we're talking about it's such a tournament-like atmosphere, playing the best ball at the best time of the year. How do you feel about performing like that for your team, but how the team collectively is playing right now?
First of all, I think our team has been playing great. We did go on a little losing streak, but the way we've been able to bounce back with these 3 home wins it's just been great, and I'm really proud of our team. And then it's just being able to play hard. If it takes for me to go get a double-double for us to win, I'm going to do that. That's what my team needs.
Y'all heard that, right?
Coach mentioned this too, the changes you made over halftime. You were +8 in rebounding in the entire second half as well. I think we could all point that was the big difference maker in getting back into it. How much were you tasked specifically on being better on the boards?
That's been the whole model the whole year. Me and Chris Luke have been rebounding at a really high level between us two. We played Julius Mims, who is also a really great rebounder, and Luke was battling with him the whole time, keeping him off the glass. It's just good that we have 2 guys that can just go do that.
I thought one of the Jamel Jones, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out his performance. Everybody knew where the ball was going. Jason was smart to not outthink yourself. When you got a guy that's performing like that, you don't want to go away from it. And so I'm sure their huddle and our huddle and everybody in the building knew where the ball was going. But because of his size and his strength, he's able to kind of get to his spots. But the other part is he's able to shoot some of those little one-legged faders, and he kind of leans into you, gets you back going backwards,
Yes.
and he comes away from you and also has this release that's over his head, the old Kevin Garnett over the top of your head, and you can't get to it. And it's hard to contest without fouling. I mean, if you really try to get it, you're going to be reaching over his face, and you can't put a guy like that on the free throw line. So, we talk about, like, are we going to go double him? Well, there's some guys out there that are terrific shooters, and at least he's making some twos. He's not able to spray it around and bang it out to three-point shooters so that they can bang in threes.
Ja, speaking of Jones's ability to shoot there, that final minute, obviously you scored the last points for the Blue Raiders, but were the primary defender. Talk about the switch, having to stay locked in on defense to force that game to overtime.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our biggest thing in the huddles was we got to get a stop. We got to get a stop because he was scoring it at a high will. I think we were fine with us being with the ball and on offense. So, yeah, I feel like we all just listened to Coach Baldwin, and we needed that stop, and we was getting them.
Now, Tori, obviously going into the final week of the season, talk about carrying the momentum into an away trip. First time you've won 3 conference games in a row so far. Now 2 road games coming up.
Just keep doing the same thing that we've been doing. Obviously, we need to take care of the ball a little bit more, but, I mean, we're going to be able to fix that. But, I mean, if we keep doing what we're doing and playing at a high level that we are, then I feel like we can go get these 2 road wins.
And then, Coach, you mentioned the improved rebounding from Tori, but also Chris. What's been the switch through the past few weeks to where you guys are finally on the right track of playing basketball at the right moment?
I think a lot of it's just growth. Everybody's growth isn't on the same trajectory and the same path. And some of that just comes with understanding how you have to prepare. And I think that's where Chris has taken a big jump in about the last 2.5 to 3 weeks. He hasn't had a bad day in practice. I think I said that in here the last time we were in here. Like he is stacking good days after good days. And you don't know what that entails when you're playing behind Jared Coleman-Jones as a freshman and then you're playing behind Isam Mustafa. You don't know what it's like to have to be an everyday guy and perform like that right there, or you get beat. And, now he's figured out what he has to do. And this young man's taken his game, his toughness level, all to another level. Tonight made some big buckets around the basket, starting to finish contact plays, making big free throws. And the same goes for him. I mean, you can kind of get your expectations of like, man, Torrey should play like LeBron, because he's long, he's athletic, he's big. 2 years ago he wasn't playing. We redshirted him. And so last year he was coming off the bench until Kamari Lands got hurt. It was 14 months ago he was not starting for our basketball team. And now he's able to go out there and drive winning. I mean, think about that 14-month growth to go from coming off the bench to now we're winning in large part because of how you and Chris and this guy are playing. And I showed them this, what was that, when I brought these 3 in weeks ago. Like, look at the plus minus. When you guys have good plus minus, we're winning games. We win games. And it's hard for us when you don't, for us to win games. I know it's hard, sophomore, redshirt sophomore, but you got to do it. And they've answered the bell.
We were hoping to get TG in here talking about the plus minus.
Chip's probably, and Coach Farrar probably got him hunkered down out there on the radio.
But we're talking about Ja and his impact on the offensive side, but TG was a huge impact on the defense side. You talked about him guarding Jamel. He's plus 14 in the plus minus in the second half.
And banged in a huge 3,
right.
Jake.
So what about a guy like that who his minutes fluctuate throughout the year, but in a game like this where you're in a tournament-like atmosphere, you can call on a guy like that?
You know what you're going to get from Trey Green every day. I mean, he maxes out his effort, whether it's a drill or practice or a ball game. And so I don't think that surprises anybody. That doesn't mean it's not hard to do. And the other thing I think speaks volumes about Trey Green and James Dent is, I like to start the seniors on senior day. Well, for us to do that today, who's going to be the center? You're going to start Kamari Lands at center and play small ball with the other 4 guards. I didn't think that was fair to our team. And, so for those 2 guys to not feel down and mopey about not starting on senior day and both come in there and have a huge impact on on the game. Trey Green +9, James Dent +8. And we went small there for a while, and they were able to take care of the ball, defend, and rebound on the other end. And I just think it speaks to the character of those guys. JD, some things outside of his control, whether it's been injury over the summer, having to finish up some courses at his previous school. I know he wants to play more, and it's not easy to go 2 or 3 games and not playing and then go in there and perform to where your team wins. I think that speaks a lot about that young man.
Collective sigh of relief. You're in Huntsville now. At least that part of it's over with. How does a conversation necessarily shift, if at all, with only a week left?
Yeah, we told our guys, we mentioned it in the locker room, like, hey, obviously not our goal, but we are in. But that doesn't mean that we should practice on Monday or practice on Wednesday or travel any looser, any different, because our toughness, our collective spirit has been in the right frame of mind for a while. I mean, it's not easy to go through that stretch we did 6-8 weeks ago and be here where we're at right now. Fractured locker rooms, guys that are low character and pointing fingers, you got problems. And we never felt that. It was just, there hasn't been that. And to be at this point, playing, well, you're going to have to play well. I said this on the radio after the game. There's some leagues where the teams with bad records at the bottom are bad teams. And there just isn't that in our league. There's some teams that their records aren't like the others, but it isn't because they're not good. There's some teams like the 2 that we've played over the last 2 or 3 days here that have got some ball players. I mean, you saw some of those threes that Jones and Watson were making the other night, and watched a guy like Jamel Jones go out there and put that ball in a bucket like that. Those are good players now, and you got to have some good players like this in order to go beat them.